I'm actually going to watch that. Good day and gratitude, family. This is Face the Nation with Bolden Unchained. Again, we are back midday. We are back noontime, midday, and we are reading our book of heroes, Black Heroes A to Z. A to Z. We're going to learn about our heroes. I know it's kind of tough having to relearn everything that we didn't learn. However, it's for our best benefit. It's for our best benefit. See, our whole lives we've been taught, we've been misled and learned. We've been taught that these other persons are heroes and sheroes, and they very well may be heroes and sheroes. I'm sure Christopher Columbus is somebody's hero, but he ain't ours. He's not mine, and he's not yours, regardless of what you may have learned and think. He wasn't our hero. He didn't discover nothing. He came and murdered and took and pillaged is what he did. So we're going to be learning about our own heroes, honey. The only heroes that the education system has taught a majority of us, because, different places, different systems are allowed to teach you a little more or a little less. Now, where I'm from in the South, in the deep South, there's hardly nothing about our ancestors who loved and fought for us. Martin Luther King, for example, the I Have a Dream speech is mainly the only quote and side of Martin that we know, that I personally know. Now I know a little bit more about Martin because I listen to Black media now. I don't just give my time and my effort and my willingness to to mainstream media, which is white media. I go to Black media. It's been a struggle. It's been a challenge because as soon as you turn on your TV, you see white media. So even that has to be programmed. And I think at this time that some of my friends and family already know that if I'm there, what I want to watch isn't going to be mainstream media. Mainstream media is not our friend. It's been one of the biggest distractions we've ever encountered, although we don't see it as a distraction. Mainstream media hasn't told us nothing, and they ain't telling us nothing because they won't tell us nothing. So it's up to you and yours, how you want to learn, how you want to end this existence here in this plane of terror that we've been on, and we have no idea why we are so hated, not just in this country, but around the globe. I'm going to leave it there because you know who I was finna call. But yes, we will be, we did start this yesterday, I believe, but it was only a page or two, and then I was backwards learning how to do it. I'm still learning. And on that note, I want to say to anyone, whatever craft, skill, interest, even if it's as simple as reading a book, go ahead, get your YouTube channel up and get started. Get your YouTube channel up and get started. Now, I'm not saying get your crime novels and go to YouTube and start reading about crime, because I think we're a little bit, in an awakening. We're in a reawakening. So, Ann Rule, I like Ann Rule. She was one of the true crime writers in my younger years. I liked it, Ann Rule. But that's not what I want to use my time and my effort for. I'm just saying. For me personally, it's reading all of our literature, all of our history that we do not know. Book of Black Heroes from A to Z by Wade Hudson and Valerie Wilson Wesley. And look at that beautiful cover right there. Ain't that awesome? All right, hero. One noted for feats of courage or nobility of purpose, especially one who has risked or sacrificed his life. A person prominent in some field, event, field, period, or cause by reason of special achievements or contributions. That's the American Heritage Dictionary. I think what we're going to do here is I'm going to read my excerpt first. The Black Heroes. A is for Ira Aldrich. 1805 to 1867, and he was born in New York City. The man with the magical voice. When Ira was a boy, very few Black children dreamed of becoming actors. Black people who lived in the South were still slaves. Those living in northern cities were free, but they had few opportunities to do what they wanted to do. But Ira was not discouraged. He had a strong, beautiful voice that would someday become famous throughout the world. When Ira was a young man, he joined a Black theater group in New York City. Now, during those times, white people believed that Black people should not be allowed to act in plays. Ira's theater was forced to close. This made Ira very angry. He didn't want to live in a country that would not allow him to develop his talent. He decided to leave the United States and live in Europe. For the next 40 years, Ira toured England and other parts of Europe. He performed in many plays and was praised and honored by many kings and princes. A portrayal of Othello in Shakespeare's play made him famous. He became one of the best-known actors of his day, but he never returned to the United States. No, he did not return to the United States. He lived his life abroad, a happy, fulfilled life, a prosperous life that he wasn't able to obtain here in America. And it makes you wonder how many of us are willing to step outside of our comfort zone to find that happiness, to find that spark, that road where we can be our true selves, where we can embrace all that we are if we can't find it in America. When we can't find it in America, because you know you can't. And if you can, you gotta wiggle. You gotta wiggle and get in there where you can fit in. A lot of us don't have the luxuries that Ira had to go to another country to perfect his skill and his talents. But he's one of our heroes, Ira Aldrich. And we're going to listen to
10 facts and quotes about Ira Aldrich. Early beginnings. Born into a free African-American family, Aldrich was born in New York City to a free African-American family, a significant factor during a period when slavery was still prevalent in the United States. Passion for acting. From a young age, he showed a keen interest in the arts, particularly acting. This passion led him to join the African Grove Theater, one of the first Black theaters in the United States. Struggles and triumphs in Europe. Overcoming racial barriers. Aldrich faced significant racial discrimination in the U.S., prompting his move to England around 1824. His departure was not just for better career opportunities but also a statement against the systemic racism in the American theater industry. Building a reputation. In Europe, Aldrich gradually built his reputation, initially playing minor roles before advancing to lead roles. His performances were marked by his powerful voice and commanding presence. Shakespearean excellence. Redefining Othello. Aldrich's portrayal of Othello was groundbreaking. He brought a new depth and authenticity to the character, challenging contemporary racial stereotypes. His interpretation was both celebrated and, at times, controversial given the racial dynamics of the period. Versatility in roles. His ability to play a wide range of characters, from the tragic to the villainous, showcased his versatility and skill as an actor, earning him accolades and admiration across Europe. Advocacy and impact. Voice against slavery. Aldrich used his platform to advocate for the abolition of slavery and speak against racial injustices. His performances often included anti-slavery messages, making him a significant figure in the abolitionist movement. Influence on future generations. Aldrich's success laid the groundwork for future African American actors and artists. He demonstrated that talent could overcome racial barriers, inspiring many who came after him. Personal life and challenges. Interracial marriage. His marriage to Margaret Gill, a white woman, was seen as highly unconventional and even scandalous at the time, reflecting the societal challenges he faced. Legacy as a family man. Aldrich was also a dedicated family man. Despite his extensive touring and professional commitments, he maintained strong ties with his family. Aldrich's death and enduring legacy. Final years. Towards the end of his life, Aldrich planned to return to the U.S. to perform but died in Poland before this could happen. Posthumous recognition. Aldrich's contributions to theater and his role in challenging racial norms have been increasingly recognized. Theaters, awards, and institutions have been named in his honor, and he remains a symbol of perseverance and excellence in the arts. Notable quotes. On equality. I have always contended that color has nothing to do with the intellect. Reflecting on challenges. I have braved public opinion, not from any motives of interest, but from an independent and honest conviction that I could illustrate the character of Othello better than most of my contemporaries. This expanded view of Ira Aldrich's life highlights not only his extraordinary talent and determination as an actor but also his significant role as a social activist and trailblazer in the arts. His story is one of overcoming immense obstacles and leaving an indelible mark on the world of theater and beyond.
Ira Aldrich. We will watch this at another time, perhaps, because that's an hour long. It's a documentary on Ira, and it's very good. It is very good. It's a documentary on Ira. Let's see if we can find maybe a shorter. Do we have a shorter clip or something? So we can maybe find some more. What is this?
The African American family.
No, that's
a significant
the same one there. Well, since it seems like why isn't everything just coming up for me? That isn't even clicking off. So what we're going to do, we were trying to we was really trying to see Marianne. Where is ABC's? There we go, right there. Gosh, I hate this.
10 facts and quotes about Ira Aldrich. Early beginnings.
Yeah, I know that's
Born into
Ira
a free
again.
African American family, Aldrich was born in New York City to a free African American family.
Okay, here she is. Whew. Why?
Imagine one of your favorite artists was banned from playing certain venues because of the...
Oh, hold up. I wanted to read from the book first. Marianne Anderson. She was born in 1902 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. A voice loved around the world. Marianne Anderson. Marianne Anderson always loved to sing. When she was 6, she joined her church choir. Church members were so impressed by her talent, they set up a trust fund to help pay for her musical training. Marianne made her first professional appearance in 1925. She went on to receive worldwide acclaim during her long career as a concert singer. In spite of her fame, this talented Black woman was denied many opportunities. In 1939, the Daughters of the American Revolution refused to let her perform at Constitution Hall in Washington, D.C. Eleanor Roosevelt, President Franklin D. Roosevelt's wife and a member of the organization, resigned in protest. She then arranged for Marianne to sing on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial. On Easter morning, more than 75,000 people came to hear her concert. Discrimination did not stop Marianne. She was the first Black person to sing a leading role at the Metropolitan Opera in New York. She sang in countries all over the world, and millions of her records have been sold. Marianne retired in 1965. Marianne Anderson. And I believe she was the first person of color to visit the White House, to sing and perform at the White House. Now let's watch our video.
The color of their skin. In 1939, that's exactly what happened to singer Marian Anderson when an all-female organization, the Daughters of the American Revolution, blocked her from performing in Washington, D.C. Anderson's singing career began when she joined the People's Chorus of Philadelphia at just 10 years old. But this was a time when much of the country was racially segregated, and when Anderson wanted to enroll at the Philadelphia Music Academy in her early 20s, she was rejected because she was Black. Undeterred, she continued her musical studies privately and won a singing competition sponsored by the New York Philharmonic. In 1930, she debuted in Berlin and spent the next 5 years performing across Europe. She returned home as an internationally acclaimed opera singer and was ready to make her name in the United States. In 1936, Anderson sang at the White House at the invitation of President Franklin D. Roosevelt. But 3 years later, Anderson found herself at the forefront of a civil rights storm. The Daughters of the American Revolution, a society dedicated to preserving American history, refused to let her on stage to perform at their headquarters at Constitution Hall, citing a white artist-only clause in their contract. Many Americans were outraged. In response, First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt, a member of the DAR, resigned, and the Roosevelt administration, along with members of the NAACP, campaigned for Anderson to secure a different venue. On April 9th, Anderson opened her concert with a moving rendition of My Country 'Tis of Thee, performing in front of 75,000 people and a radio audience of millions. Anderson went on to become an icon for the civil rights movement and a catalyst for change. In 1943, she sang to an integrated audience in Constitution Hall at the invitation of the DAR. But it took almost 10 more years before they officially changed their white artist-only rule. Anderson became the first African American to perform at the Met Opera in New York City in 1955, and came full circle, kickstarting her farewell U.S. tour at Constitution Hall and ending it a year later at Carnegie Hall. How do you think Marian Anderson's high-profile conflicts with the DAR helped change discriminatory practices in institutions across America?
Stop paying for your phone plan. Get unlimited talk and text plus data on one of America's largest 5G networks. Join millions of households that are already connected.
He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the big round world in his hands. He's got the wide world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the wind and the rain in his hands. He's got the moon and the stars in his hands. He's got the wind and the rain in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the little bits of baby in his hands. He's got the little bits of baby In his hands he's got little bits of baby. In his hands he's got the whole world in his hands. He's got you and me, brother. In his hands, he's got you and me, sister. In his hands, he's got you and me, brother. In his hands, he's got the whole world in his hands. Oh, he's got everybody. In his hands, he's got everybody. In his hands, he's got everybody here. Right in his hands, he's got the whole world in his hands.
And that was Marianne Anderson.
He's got the whole world. In his hands, he's got the big round world. In his hands, he's got the wide world. In his hands, he's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the wind and the rain. In his hands, he's got the moon and the stars. In his hands, he's got the wind and the rain. In his hands, he's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the little bits of baby. In his hands, he's got the little bits of baby. In his hands, he's got the little bits of baby. In his hands, he's got the whole world in his hands. He's got you and me, brother. In his hands, he's got you and me, sister. In his hands, he's got you and me, brother. In his hands, he's got the whole world in his hands. Oh, he's got everybody. In his hands, he's got everybody. In his hands, he's got everybody here. Right in his hands, he's got the whole world in his hands.
I have no idea why my Wi-Fi is acting janky today. I guess because I'm doing something different, huh? So we've watched Ira Aldrich. Let me just refresh. Black Heroes A to Z. We have watched Ira Aldrich, who was an actor in theater. And upon the closing of his theater, he moved out of the United States to England, where he became a very famous actor all over the world. And he did have plans to come to the United States and perform, but he died before that could happen. Then we watched Marianne Anderson, one of our very great vocalists. She was the first African-American to perform at the White House. Marianne, she was born in Philadelphia on February the 27th, and she died April the 8th, 1993. Oh, that was in 1897 when she was born, February 27th, 1897, and she died April the 8th, 1993. I did find some discrepancies in her dates of birth and the date of death, her passing, but I'll have to do some more research on that. We will be rereading these books. We will be rereading Red Summer at some point in the future. We finished that reading, and we are now reading Racial Violence in Kentucky, 1865 to 1940, only at midnight for those readings. However, we will be rereading all of our readings at some point in the future. And so that was Mary Ann Anderson. And our third letter of the alphabet is Muhammad Ali. And we all know Muhammad Ali. We all love Muhammad Ali. And we remember the stance that Muhammad Ali made against the war. Remember when they stripped him from his title because he wouldn't go fight in the Vietnam War, because he said that those weren't his enemies. He's never seen a Vietnamese, and he refused to go fight in the war. So they stripped him of his title for 4 or 5 years, I think.
Something. I'm gonna show just to show you how fast I am. Let me show you something. I'm gonna show the people out here how fast I am. And you see this? Now look, and I'm gonna show you something now. Now I'm gonna hit you 6 times before you count 2. Okay. Now I want you to count 2. Okay. 1, 2. Faster. Okay. Let me hear you. Ready? Let me hear you. 1, fast. 2. 1, 2. Fast. Okay. 1, 2. Okay. Now I'm gonna hit you 6 times before you count 2. You ready? Ready. When I say go, you count. Okay. Go. 1, 2. That's too slow. You count too slow. Now, come on, seriously. Okay. I didn't throw no punch that time. Right. Now, count 1, 2 fast. Okay. When I say go, count. Go. 1, 2. You want to see it again?
And while we climb this mountain, I want to tell you guys about Shopify, a platform that makes starting a business incredibly easy. Shopify helped me turn my YouTube channel into a business, and they can do it for whatever you're passionate about, like climbing mountains. Whew. If you've ever bought my merch or Feastables, you've used it. I'm forever grateful.
All right.
The man to beat me haven't been born yet.
Muhammad Ali is one of the best boxers in the history of boxing. His career was full of various events, among which were both rapid rises and deafening falls. He was not as spectacular a knockout as Tyson, but he put a lot of tough guys on the floor of the ring in his career. Because Ali's boxing career consists practically of only victories, there are a lot of knockout victories among them as well. In this video, we've collected all of Muhammad's knockouts, from the very first to the most recent. So sit back and watch until the end. At the same time, think about which knockout in Ali's career was the coolest.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Unfortunately, we could not find the video of the first knockouts because of their age and the low status of the fight. The first knockout we will show you were in the 6th professional fight of Cassius Clay, his name at the time. By that time, our hero had won all 5 fights, 3 of them by KO. The 6th fight, which took place on April 19, 1961, was against Lamar Clark. Cassius took him down already in the 2nd round. The next knockout didn't happen until the 9th fight. His opponent was Alex Mitif of Armenia, and the result was a technical knockout in round 6. The following fights of Clay were all KOs. This time it was unlucky for the German Willy Bezmenov, who fought bravely but lost by TKO in the 7th. The referee rushed him, and Clay's opponent was ready to continue the fight. The 11th fight of Cassius Clay, again by TKO. His opponent, Sonny Banks, was a middle-ranked boxer who did not hold out against the would-be champion in the 4 rounds. And yet the referee, it seems to me, was in a hurry. Clay's opponent was ready to continue the duel. It seems that our hero made it his mission to finish his fights in the 4th round. Otherwise, how do you explain 2 more consecutive technical knockouts in this round against Don Warner and George Logan? Unfortunately, I couldn't find the video of those fights. In his 14th fight, Billy Daniels was defeated. The referee stopped the fight quite unexpectedly, and the audience was unhappy.
That's all. Mark's on is stopping it.
This was Cash's 6th consecutive technical knockout, only this time in the 7th instead of his favorite 4th round. The next fight was with Alejandro Lavarante. Cassius knocked out his opponent in the 5th round, but you can't watch that knockout for the same reasons. Gradually, Cassius became more and more famous, and his opponents became more and more serious. This time around, Clay fought the legendary Archie Moore. However, the boxing legend, who came to this fight only for the money, was almost 49 years old at the time. Naturally, he had little chance against the fast young Clay. Cassius had predicted his victory in the 4th round, and he made sure it had come true. The former champion lost the fight by TKO.
Moore is sent to the canvas again by a barrage of punches. Ripping punches by Cassius Clay, and it's all over. Clay wins by a 4th round knockout.
Clay easily defeated his next opponent, Charlie Powell, knocking him out in the 3rd round in his home ring in Louisville. The following bouts were much more challenging. After his tough fight against Doug Jones, where the judges controversially gave the victory to Cassius, his next fight was no less difficult against Henry Cooper of Great Britain. The fight took place at Wembley and gathered an impressive crowd of 55,000. A few seconds before the bell in the 4th round, Cooper sent Clay into a hard knockdown.
Oh.
Clay's seconds went up for a ruse to get more time to recover. They tore Clay's glove in between rounds. Cooper opened up a severe dissection in the 5th round, and the referee stopped the fight.
It's round 5. And now he's slipping in, and I think this is it. The towel has come into Cooper's corner, and Tommy Little's looking at it.
The next fight was the toughest of Cash's career, as he was to face world champion Sonny Liston.
Very tricky left lead, left jab. They might be stopping it. That might be all, ladies and gentlemen. Get up there, Joe. Get up there. Get up in the ring.
Without difficulty defeating Liston and becoming the new world champion, Cassius Clay joined the Nation of Islam. He took his new name, Muhammad Ali. In his 2nd fight against Sonny Liston, Ali took out the boxer suspiciously, doing it in the 1st round already, which caused controversy and conspiracies. However, for more details about these scandalous fights, see our video on our other channel. So Muhammad Ali became the champion of the world, even doubtfully but successfully defending his belt. His next opponent was Floyd Patterson, a very famous and strong boxer. Patterson then had 43 wins and 4 defeats, 2 of which were by the same Sonny Liston. Before the fight, Ali said that he was not going to knock out his opponent, but to declare Patterson for a long time before the eyes of the audience. And so it happened. Only in the 12th round did the champion begin to box at his full power, land a few accurate, strong punches, and the referee stopped the fight, registering the technical knockout.
And that's it. Referee Krause stops the fight. 2 minutes, 18 seconds of round 12. TKO.
The same Henry Cooper who sent Muhammad into a heavy knockdown at Wembley decided to try to do it again, only this time to finish the fight with a victory. It didn't work out. The 24-year-old Ali sent Cooper to a technical knockout in the 6th round. Although the fight was again stopped due to a cut on Cooper's body, Ali's victory was undeniable this time.
So
Ali had his next fight again in London. He defended his title by defeating Brian London in 3 rounds. Muhammad ended the fight with spectacular punches, pinning London to the ropes.
Ali moving in on London. A fuselage of punches by Muhammad Ali. London goes down.
On September 10, 1966, the fight was held in Frankfurt, Germany, for the 6th defense of the title against local champion Karl Mildenberger. Muhammad won by TKO in the 12th round.
Courage alone, Mildenberger is. While the nose is bleeding. Straight right. Oh. Teddy Walton is stopping this bout. It's a technical knockout.
2 months later, Ali defended his world title for the 7th time against Cleveland Williams. The 27th victory for Muhammad ended with a technical knockout in the 3rd round.
Backing away, Ray hits him with a left to the face. Williams doesn't quite know what to do. He's been hurt. Bradley takes a left and a right in his own corner, right, and the referee stops the fight. It's all over.
Ali had his next fight against Zora Fawley. The champion easily defeated Fawley, who was not among the heavyweight division's elite. In front of the eyes of New Yorkers, Muhammad knocked out the challenger in the 7th round.
We talked about Foley's courage. The champion has plenty himself. There's no question about that. 7, 8. He's not. No. He gamely tried to get up.
That fight was Ali's last before he was excommunicated from boxing. The next time he stepped into the ring was more than 3 years later. After such a long break, Ali lost his best form, so he was not given the most vigorous opponents at first. One of them was Oscar Bonavena. The fight was a mixed success for both fighters until, in round 15, Ali knocked out the Argentine. Bonavena could get up, but then fought twice more to the canvas, and the referee stopped the fight.
That left floored him. It came from nowhere. First knockdown of the fight, he took the mandatory 8, and now Ali is behaving like the old Ali. If he goes down again, it's over. Ali is the knockout winner at 2 minutes and 3.
Ali received his first defeat in his career from Joe Frazier. Later, he fought with him 2 more times. We will cover these fights in a separate story on our channel. After losing clean to Frazier, ruining his excellent record of 31 wins without losses, Muhammad wanted to rehabilitate himself. The punching bag was supposed to be Jimmy Ellis, but the beating didn't happen. Ali defeated his opponent only in the final 12 rounds by TKO.
He looks defenseless on the ropes. The referee may be deciding whether he's going to stop the fight. He is stopping the fight.
His subsequent victory by TKO was against a pretty average fighter, Jurgen Blin. The fight took place in Switzerland, but Ali put his opponent on the ring's canvas in the 7th round.
Ali having a little difficulty understanding the referee there. He's got to stop this. He's broken him up. He's giving it a mandatory.
Ali kept picking up wins, but not against the strongest opponents and not always convincingly. 2 years later, Muhammad met again with Jerry Quarry, whom he fought right after his 3-year downtime. Quarry lost again, 7th round, technical knockout.
Ali's face there. Ali out to finish it. Yes, it was a
last 20 days old.
It was Quarry's last gallant effort. Referee must stop it. Yes, it's all over.
His next opponent was much more serious, but not on the list of top fighters. His name was Alvin Lewis. Ali finished his 39th fight by TKO in the 11th round again.
You may call the old Muhammad Ali, sprinkling away there, really giving them the business. And it looks as though Eskin feels that that's enough.
For the second time, after beating his boyhood idol Floyd Patterson, who, by the way, ended his career after this fight, Muhammad fought Bob Foster, knocking him out in 8 rounds. The next knockout of Ali's career would be a long time away.
With Joe Frazier, of course, Henry Cooper hooked him over in 1963, but he just crumbled there like a pack of cards, Foster.
Ali could not knock out his opponents in 5 fights in a row, among which was Muhammad's second career loss, the offender being Ken Norton. But Ali, in which almost no one believed, gave a crazy fight against the terrible and unbeaten George Foreman. By the 8th round, George lost his last strength, and Ali, right before the signal for the end of the round, made a right-left-right combination that shocked the young champion. He was on the ropes. Then Muhammad made a precise attack that sent Foreman to the floor of the ring. It was a great fight.
Another sneaky right hand. This time he worked over the shoulder of Foreman. This is a combination.
After the fight with Foreman, Ali was at the peak of fame. The newly minted world champion had his first title defense against Chuck Wepner. Even though Muhammad won, he sent his opponent to technical knockout in only 15 rounds.
He's trying to hang on. He's out on his feet. Ali punches him. A right hand off the left hook.
His next opponent was Ron Lyle, who was knocked out by TKO in round 11.
Ali signaled to the ref to stop it, but the ref hasn't stopped it. Lyle just stands and takes it.
After his third fight against Joe Frazier, Ali won. His new opponent was Jean-Pierre Koopman, and Ali handled him reasonably quickly, knocking him out in the 5th round.
Combination, 5 in a row. Left and right too fast. Koopman is down.
The last knockout of Muhammad Ali was carried out in his 54th fight. After this fight, the champion slowly gave up, even though he had won 3 more fights with a great effort. The last knockout was quite spectacular. In the 5th round, Richard Dunn fell. So let's enjoy the last knockout of the great boxer.
Knees are jelly. Oh, what a right hand. It's all over. It's all over. Muhammad Ali has beaten Richard Dunn.
At the end of his career, Ali had seriously messed up his stats, losing 3 fights out of 4. Still, it doesn't change the fact that Muhammad is one of the greatest heavyweights ever. With 56 wins, 37 of them by KO, he proved it. And now a question. Which of his knockouts did you like the most? We're waiting for your answer in the comments.
The beach has always been there for us.
And that right there is another documentary. And we're not going to watch the documentaries because this is only just a few moments, a few minutes, not very long with this this reading of this short book right here. And it's just a workbook style. It's fashioned like a workbook. Oh, and Benjamin Banneker. Benjamin Banneker, as we know, he designed the Washington, D.C. Yes, the city of Washington, D.C. That was Benjamin Banneker. And first we'll read here. Benjamin Banneker was born in 1731 and he died in 1806. He was born in Endicott, Maryland, Endicott. The Stargazer. The young man was amazed by the number of stars that appeared in the clear moonlit sky. I've never seen so many stars before, he thought. He lay on the ground and began to count them. This is how Benjamin Banneker spent many of his nights. Neighbors called him the Stargazer. When Benjamin left school to help on his father's farm, the world became his classroom. He studied the weather, animal life, the stars, everything he could. He read all the books that were available to him. By the time he was 20, Benjamin could answer the most difficult questions in mathematics, science, and philosophy. Oh, shit. We're going to go right there. Okay, I'm going to back this up, right?
Your future is at your fingertips.
Okay. Yeah, because I wasn't on the screen. Because I was not on the screen. I need 2 monitors. Wow. 2 monitors. Okay. Benjamin Banneker, 1731 to 1806, born in Endicott, Maryland, the stargazer. The young man was amazed by the number of stars that appeared in the clear moonlit sky. I've never seen so many stars before, he thought. He lay on the ground and began to count them. This is how Benjamin Banneker spent many of his nights. Neighbors called him the stargazer. When Benjamin left school to help on his father's farm, the world became his classroom. He studied the weather, animal life, the stars, everything he could. He read all the books that were available to him. By the time he was 20, Benjamin could answer the most difficult questions in mathematics, science, and philosophy. In 1761, he carved a wooden clock by hand, using only 2 models, a pocket watch and an old picture of a clock. It is said that the clock kept nearly perfect time for 50 years. 50 years. Benjamin was the first Black person to receive a presidential appointment. In 1791, George Washington named him to the commission that laid out the city of Washington, D.C. Although Benjamin had never been a slave, he spoke out against the system that held his people in bondage. The young man who studied the stars became an astronomer, but he was also a mathematician, an inventor, a surveyor, philosopher, and an abolitionist. Benjamin Banneker. Now let's go back and watch the video here that we have.
Societal norms dictated the limits of one's potential, there emerged a beacon of brilliance, a testament to the boundless human spirit, Benjamin Banneker. Have you ever encountered a story of such remarkable resilience and intellectual prowess? A self-taught prodigy, Benjamin Banneker defied the odds, rising above the limitations imposed upon him to become a celebrated mathematician, astronomer, and almanac author. Imagine the audacity of a man born into a world that often sought to suppress the intellectual aspirations of African Americans, yet he soared, his brilliance illuminating the path for generations to come. Join us on a journey through the extraordinary life of Benjamin Banneker, where we'll unravel the mysteries of the cosmos alongside him, witness his groundbreaking discoveries, and delve into his profound correspondence with Thomas Jefferson. Prepare to be inspired, to have your perceptions challenged, and to witness the transformative power of an indomitable spirit. So, if you're ready to embark on this captivating adventure, hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. You won't want to miss this extraordinary tale. Early life. A self-taught prodigy. Benjamin Banneker's story is a testament to the power of self-education and the boundless potential of the human mind. Born into a family of modest means in rural Maryland on November 9, 1731, Banneker faced numerous challenges and obstacles in his pursuit of knowledge. Despite limited formal schooling, he possessed an insatiable curiosity and a voracious appetite for learning. From a young age, Banneker displayed a remarkable aptitude for mathematics and astronomy. He spent countless hours poring over books and observing the celestial movements, transforming his family's log cabin into a makeshift study. With unwavering determination, he taught himself advanced concepts in these fields, utilizing whatever resources he could find. Banneker's intellectual pursuits were not merely academic exercises, they were driven by a deep-seated desire to understand the world around him. He meticulously crafted his own wooden instruments, including a sundial and a telescope, to aid his astronomical observations. His meticulous calculations and accurate predictions earned him recognition as a skilled astronomer, even among those who doubted his abilities due to his race and background. Astronomical prowess, a stargazer's revelation. Banneker's passion for astronomy was not merely a hobby, It became a lifelong pursuit that garnered him widespread acclaim. His meticulous observations of the night sky led to numerous groundbreaking discoveries, including the identification of new stars and the accurate prediction of celestial events. One of Banneker's most notable achievements was his prediction of a solar eclipse that occurred in 1789. This remarkable feat brought him to the attention of Thomas Jefferson, then the Vice President of the United States. Jefferson, impressed by Banneker's intellect and astronomical prowess, engaged in a correspondence with him, further solidifying Banneker's reputation as a respected scholar. Banneker's astronomical contributions extended beyond his own observations and predictions. He also made significant advances in the field of clockmaking, designing and constructing a wooden clock that kept accurate time for over 40 years. His ingenuity and craftsmanship were further exemplified in his creation of a self-taught sundial, a testament to his practical application of knowledge. The Banneker Almanac, a beacon of practical knowledge. Benjamin Banneker's intellectual brilliance extended far beyond the theoretical realms of mathematics and astronomy. Recognizing the importance of practical knowledge in everyday life, he embarked on a groundbreaking endeavor to compile and publish the first African-American almanac. This comprehensive work served as an invaluable resource for farmers, navigators, and everyday people, providing them with essential information on weather patterns, astronomical events, and agricultural practices. The Banneker Almanac was not merely a collection of facts and figures. It was a testament to Banneker's ability to synthesize complex knowledge and apply it to real-world situations. He meticulously gathered data from various sources, including his own astronomical observations, and carefully calculated the positions of celestial bodies. With painstaking precision, he crafted tables and charts that provided farmers with accurate predictions of sunrise, sunset, and moon phases, enabling them to plan their agricultural activities effectively. Banneker's almanac also served as a navigational aid for seafarers, offering them guidance on the movements of the stars and tides. His detailed calculations of the movements of the celestial bodies allowed navigators to determine their position at sea, ensuring safe and efficient voyages. The Banneker Almanac's impact extended beyond its practical applications. It served as a powerful symbol of African-American intellectual achievement, challenging prevailing stereotypes and demonstrating the potential for individuals of all backgrounds to contribute meaningfully to society. Banneker's work inspired generations of African Americans to pursue education and excel in various fields, paving the way for greater equality and recognition. Inventions. A mind of versatility. Banneker's genius was not confined to the realms of mathematics and astronomy. His inquisitive mind and mechanical aptitude led him to explore the field of invention, where he crafted ingenious devices that showcased his creativity and problem-solving skills. One of his most notable creations was a wooden clock that kept accurate time for over 40 years, a testament to his ingenuity and craftsmanship. Banneker's clock was not merely a functional timepiece, it was a masterpiece of design and precision. He meticulously crafted each component, from the gears and wheels to the pendulum and case, ensuring that every element worked in harmony to achieve accurate timekeeping. His attention to detail and understanding of mechanical principles resulted in a clock that defied the limitations of its time, providing reliable timekeeping for an impressive 4 decades. Banneker's inventive spirit extended beyond the clockmaker's workshop. He also designed and constructed a self-taught sundial, an instrument that utilized the sun's position to tell time. His ability to adapt and innovate, even with limited resources, further demonstrated his versatility and resourcefulness. Banneker's inventions were not merely practical tools. They were tangible expressions of his intellectual curiosity and his desire to solve real-world problems. His creations showcased his ability to apply theoretical knowledge to practical applications, making him a true Renaissance man of the 18th century, a legacy of inspiration, a champion of intellectual brilliance. Benjamin Banneker's life stands as a testament to the indomitable spirit of human potential, a story that transcends time and reminds us that intellectual brilliance knows no bounds. Born into a society that often sought to suppress the intellectual aspirations of African Americans, Banneker defied the odds, rising above the limitations imposed upon him by race and circumstance to become a celebrated mathematician, astronomer, and almanac author. His journey was not an easy one. Banneker faced numerous challenges throughout his life, from limited formal education to societal prejudice that questioned his abilities. Yet he never wavered in his pursuit of knowledge, fueled by an insatiable curiosity and a deep-seated belief in the power of learning. Banneker's accomplishments were not merely academic achievements. They were tangible contributions that impacted the lives of others. His almanac, the first compiled by an African American, served as an invaluable resource for farmers, navigators, and everyday people, providing them with essential information for their daily lives. His inventions, such as the wooden clock that kept accurate time for over 40 years, demonstrated his ingenuity and ability to apply theoretical knowledge to practical applications. But beyond his tangible contributions, Banneker's legacy lies in his unwavering commitment to intellectual pursuits and his refusal to be defined by the limitations imposed upon him. His story became a beacon of hope for generations of African Americans, demonstrating that with determination and perseverance, anything is possible, regardless of race or background. Banneker's life serves as a powerful reminder that intellectual brilliance is not a product of privilege or circumstance, but rather a manifestation of the human spirit's capacity for curiosity, perseverance, and the relentless pursuit of knowledge. His legacy continues to inspire us to challenge the status quo, to break down barriers, and to embrace the transformative power of learning. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of Benjamin Banneker's remarkable life. His legacy continues to inspire us, reminding us of the boundless potential that lies within each of us. Please like, subscribe, and share this video to spread the message of empowerment and intellectual curiosity.
We get down to the beat. Y'all. We get down to the beat, y'all.
Hello and welcome back. In this Black Excellus video, we will highlight the life and accomplishments of Benjamin Banneker.
Benjamin Banneker.
His story is not just about his remarkable achievements as an architect, astronomer, and author, but also a testament to his unwavering commitment to challenging racial prejudices and advocating for equality. Benjamin Banneker, a free black man in a nation grappling with the complexities of freedom and opportunity, defied expectations, leaving an enduring legacy that enriches the tapestry of American history. Our nation's capital wouldn't be the dazzling metropolis it is today without the ingenious touch of Benjamin Banneker. And at the turn of the century, when automobiles were still a newfangled marvel, there was another marvel in the making: the city of Washington, D.C. It wasn't just anyone who got to design this historic city. It was none other than George Washington, the very first president of the United States, who decided to give Benjamin Banneker the opportunity. It turns out it was Thomas Jefferson who gave him a glowing recommendation and suggested he be part of the planning committee. Born on November 9, 1731, in the area now known as Oella, Maryland, Benjamin Banneker was the product of unique circumstances. His parents, Mary and Robert Banneker, themselves formerly enslaved, had secured their freedom, providing Benjamin with a rare legacy of liberty in a time when slavery cast a dark shadow over the lives of many African Americans. This freedom, though, did not shield the Banneker family from the racial prejudices of their era. As a child, Benjamin's education began at the hands of his maternal grandmother, Molly Welsh, an English dairymaid falsely accused of theft. Her ability to read during her trial saved her from a death sentence, but led to 7 years of indentured servitude in the American colonies. Molly's resilience and determination in the face of injustice undoubtedly influenced young Benjamin. As a free black child growing up in a society rife with racial tensions, Benjamin Banneker was introduced to both the privileges of freedom and the harsh realities of prejudice. His early education, guided by the wisdom of his indomitable grandmother, Molly Welsh, set the stage for his extraordinary journey. From a young age, it was clear that Benjamin Banneker possessed a prodigious intellect. His insatiable curiosity led him to explore the realms of mathematics and science independently. In his early 20s, he embarked on a remarkable endeavor that would astound his community, a wooden clock he constructed using a borrowed pocket watch as his guide. This wooden marvel would keep perfect time for an astonishing 50 years, earning its place as one of the wonders of the region. Young Benjamin's fascination with the inner workings of the world knew no bounds. He was able to create and innovate many inventions with little formal education. Even his handcrafted wooden clock defied the expectations of his time. This wooden timepiece became a symbol of his many ingenuities and marked the beginning of his lifelong exploration of the universe. In 1772, the Ellicott family, Quakers hailing from Pennsylvania, settled in Maryland and established Ellicott Mills, known today as Ellicott City. Fate would soon intervene, leading to a profound friendship between Banneker and the Ellicotts, particularly George Ellicott. George, a land surveyor with a deep passion for astronomy, became Banneker's mentor, providing him with essential tools and books on the celestial sciences. Banneker's thirst for knowledge was unquenchable, and he quickly mastered the intricacies of astronomy. His crowning achievement was the creation of an ephemeris, a set of astronomical projections used in his first almanac. It was in the quiet countryside of Maryland that an extraordinary alliance formed. The Ellicott family and Benjamin Banneker, united by their shared love for astronomy, embarked on a journey that would forever change the course of American history. Together, they unlocked the secrets of the stars. Impressed by his mastery of astronomy and mathematics, the Ellicotts invited Banneker to join them in a groundbreaking endeavor, the survey of the nation's new capital, Washington, D.C. Using celestial observations to determine latitude and longitude, Banneker played a pivotal role in plotting the city's boundaries. The accuracy of his calculations earned him respect and admiration. Upon his return to his farm, Banneker undertook a new mission, the publication of a series of almanacs that combined astronomical data with proverbs, mathematical puzzles, and essays decrying the injustices of slavery. Between 1792 and 1797, he published 6 almanacs that became bestsellers. In the heart of a new nation's capital, Benjamin Banneker's calculations and insights transcended the boundaries of his time. He charted the path for the city's development, and his almanacs, infused with wisdom and social commentary, ignited discussions about justice and equality. Throughout his life, Benjamin Banneker grappled with the harsh reality of slavery. His conviction in the face of this inhumane captivity fueled his determination to make a difference. In a bold move, he penned a letter to Thomas Jefferson, then Secretary of State, calling for the recognition of the cruelty of slavery and urging Jefferson to use his position to seek freedom for those in bondage. Accompanying his letter was a manuscript of his upcoming 1792 almanac. Jefferson acknowledged Banneker's plea for liberty and sent his almanac to the Academy of Sciences in Paris, France, a moment of profound validation for Banneker. Benjamin Banneker's voice, unwavering and resolute, resonated through the corridors of power. His impassioned letter to Thomas Jefferson echoed the sentiments of countless others who yearned for freedom and justice. Banneker's almanac found its place in the annals of international recognition. On October 25, 1806, at the age of 74, Benjamin Banneker passed away. He never married nor had children, but his legacy as an intellectual, astronomer, and mathematician was etched into the annals of history. For over 2 centuries, his life story has inspired countless generations, igniting the flames of curiosity and resilience. The world lost a brilliant mind, but the legacy of Benjamin Banneker endured. He may have departed this realm, but his impact resonates through the ages, reminding us all that knowledge, determination, and the pursuit of justice have the power to shape the world. In the remarkable life of Benjamin Banneker, we find a beacon of knowledge and equality. His journey from a free African American in colonial Maryland to a renowned astronomer, mathematician, and activist stands as a testament to the human spirit's ability to transcend adversity. Banneker's legacy reminds us that regardless of the challenges we face, the pursuit of knowledge and the fight for justice can lead to profound and lasting change. His story serves as an inspiration for all, a call to embrace curiosity, resilience, and the unwavering belief. Although some of his peers recognize his intellectual merits, Banneker was mostly overlooked or discredited. The reaction to his achievements reveals the rigid cultural patterns and racial attitudes of the Federalist and Jeffersonian eras. Although the Banneker Institute was opened in 1854, Banneker did not receive the recognition he deserved until the 20th century. During the Civil Rights Movement, landmarks related to Banneker were commemorated in states like Maryland. And history books, especially those focusing on African American pioneers, began including his noteworthy achievements. In 1980, United States Postal Service designed a stamp featuring Banneker, the first American astronomer so honored. Today, there are several schools, parks, museums, and facilities named in Banneker's honor. For example, the Maryland Historical Society sponsors the Banneker Douglas Museum, a historic church in Annapolis, Maryland. And speaking of the legacy of Banneker's almanacs, the traditional type survives in the Old Farmer's Almanac, which has been continuously published in the United States since 1792. But the best known type of almanac is now a handy and dependable collection of a vast array of statistical, historical, and other information.
We appreciate the fact that you stayed until the end. Thank you for spending time with us, and don't forget to like this video. Also, make sure you subscribe so that you never miss a video. Bye for now. We will see you tomorrow.
And yes, we do thank you for staying to the end. And that was Benjamin Banneker, our great first scientist, the first Black scientist, matter of fact, Benjamin Banneker. He was called the Stargazer. Wow. And next, we have on our list of Black heroes from A to Z, we have Mrs. our sister, Mary McLeod Bethune. Mary McLeod Bethune, the great educator. Oh, this is a wonderful book. It's kind of small, true, but it is an awesome book. It's not very big, but it's really awesome just to have these books here, these little workbooks. And again, this here is Mary Bethune. Mary McLeod Bethune. And she was born in 1875 to 1955. Stop, come on. Yeah, I definitely have to get another monitor. We need 2 monitors. Okay, Mary McLeod Bethune, 1875 to 1955. And she was born in Maysville, South Carolina. The great educator. And that's Mary. There, can you see her? Mary Bethune. Mary McLeod Bethune. Mary McLeod Bethune was a determined woman. She helped make education available to thousands of Black Americans. When Mary was a child, many people thought that education was a waste of time for Black children. But Mary wanted to go to school, and her parents supported her. She graduated from Moody Bible Institute in 1895 and afterward taught school in Georgia. In 1904, she moved to Daytona, Florida, to establish a school for girls. Mary had only $1.50 in her pocket when she arrived in Daytona, but that didn't stop her. She sold sweet potato pies to raise money for her school. She asked for donations from churches, clubs, and anyone who would help. Her school became Bethune-Cookman University. It is an example of what a determined person can accomplish. Mary used that same determination to fight for other equal rights for her people. She founded the National Council of Negro Women in 1935. She was also an advisor to 4 presidents of the United States. Her legacy definitely lives on. Mary McLeod Bethune.
Bethune was an educator and activist who fought for the advancement of Black Americans, especially Black girls, by improving access and quality of education. She was born on July 10, 1875, in Maysville, South Carolina, to former slaves. Her parents were extremely poor. They had 17 children, and all of them worked, most of them picking cotton. But when a missionary started a school for African American children near her home in Maysville, Bethune decided she wanted to go. She walked 8 miles to school each day by herself, and she came home and tried to teach her family what she learned. She went on to attend the Scotia Seminary for Girls in North Carolina on a scholarship and graduated in 1893. But she was far from finished. She then attended Dwight Moody's Institute for Home and Foreign Missions in Chicago, and after 2 years moved back down south to work as a teacher and share her knowledge. She worked as a teacher for 10 years and married another teacher, Albertus Bethune, in 1898. They had a son, Albert, but the couple parted in 1907, and in 1918, Albertus died from tuberculosis. Bethune didn't have much money, so she moved to Daytona, Florida, where there was more economic opportunity, and opened the Daytona Normal and Industrial Institute for Negro Girls in 1904. It was a true labor of love. She built the desks and chairs herself. The kids used elderberry juice for ink and burned wood for pencils. The school started small with just 5 girls and Bethune's own son, Albert, but eventually it grew to 250 students. The school eventually merged with a boys' school and was redubbed Bethune-Cookman College. Taking advice from her friend, Booker T. Washington, she courted the wealthy white organizations that had much more access to resources, including money and influence. She had James Gamble of Procter & Gamble sit on the school board of trustees. John D. Rockefeller donated $62,000 to her school. She even developed a friendship with FDR and a very close friendship with Eleanor Roosevelt. And while Bethune was fighting for education for kids, she was also fighting for women's rights. She joined the National Association of Colored Women and served as the president of the Florida chapter from 1917 to 1925. And she did all this while getting threats from members of the Ku Klux Klan. And did she let that stop her? Absolutely not. In 1935, she started the National Council of Negro Women in New York City. In 1938, she hosted the White House Conference on Negro Women and Children. And during World War II, she gained approval for Black women to serve as officers in the Women's Army Corps. She was also a special assistant to the Secretary of War during World War II and served as a member of FDR's Black Cabinet, which was a coalition of Black leaders who advised Roosevelt on issues facing the Black community. Bethune gave her life to the improvement of others. She advocated for equality of the races and the sexes and went to great lengths to enact change until she died in 1955 at the age of 79.
Wow, that is amazing. Wow, that was amazing, wasn't it? And we just begun. We have just begun. And I just wanted to come back and say that this book is quite an eye-opener. It's small. It's a really small book. Not very big at all. I think we may, instead of doing this at 12 noon, we'll probably try to do this at 10 a.m. in the morning. We'll see. But this is an awesome book here. So far, we have read about this book here, Black Heroes from A to Z. We have read about Ira Aldridge. We have read about Marianne Anderson, Muhammad Ali, and Benjamin Banneker, and now Mary McLeod Bethune. And I also wanted to say that for Mary, there is a statue of Mary McLeod Bethune, a capital statue of her. I didn't even know where it was located, but we're going to watch some more clips on her. Possibly tomorrow we may start again, or we may start with Mary. We'll see. I would definitely work on getting a second monitor so that I can make this a little easier for myself and for you, for me to navigate it and for you to follow along, you know, from one screen to the next. However, this here is awesome. Oh, and I wrote Mary on my my bucket list. Oh, her statue is actually in Washington, D.C., and it's located at Lincoln Park on Capitol Hill. That is awesome. Our sister, Mary. Ooh, I really want to do this last one. Oh, no. Joseph Cinque. And you remember that movie, Amistad? About the African who fought his way back to Africa. He was kidnapped and sold into slavery, and he fought himself back. He fought his way back to Africa, and that is what the story Amistad. I love Amistad. And that is what that story is based off of. So we're gonna watch a few clips on that. Let me try to get set up here.
Good afternoon.
Okay. I need to possibly pause this. Okay, it's going back to there, back to here. Joseph Cinque, 1811 to 1879, and he was born in Sierra Leone, West Africa. He would not be a slave. Joseph Cinque's arms and legs hurt so much he couldn't move them. He and 52 other young Africans were chained together in the bottom of a ship. They had been kidnapped from their village in Sierra Leone and taken to Havana, Cuba. Now they were on a ship called the Amistad. They were being taken to Principe, Cuba, to work as slaves. And that's Principe. Joseph was determined to be free. One night, he and the other Africans escaped from their chains. They went to the deck of the ship, seized weapons, and fought with the ship's crew. All but 2 crew members were killed. "You must return us to our home in Africa," Joseph told the 2 men. But the men still sailed to the United States. The ship was captured off the coast of Connecticut, and Joseph and the others were arrested. Some people in the United States believed that slavery was wrong. They felt that Joseph should be free. The Supreme Court agreed with them. In 1842, Joseph and the other brave Africans finally were able to return to Africa. And this is his story. Joseph Cinque.
This is Lester Plywood with the Abolition News Network. Today is March 9th of 1841, and the Supreme Court has just announced that they have decided 6-1 to free the 19 remaining slaves on the slave ship Amistad, a day that will be remembered in history as a good day. And we also have the leader of who helped kidnap this slave ship. The slave's name is Joseph Cinque. Please welcome Mr. Cinque down. Sir, how are you?
How you doing, Mr. Driftwood?
It's Plywood, sir.
Oh, okay.
Plywood.
You have an interesting picture here.
Oh, this is actually the emblem made by the Committee to Abolish Slavery.
Oh, they have a committee now?
Yes. Well, actually, it started in 1791. Yeah.
Amazing. Amazing.
Have a seat. Okay. So we'll get right down to it because we already know the end here. Tell us about how you became a slave.
Mr. Plywood, we were kidnapped. We were kidnapped by Portuguese pirate slave traders. They kidnapped us from our hometown of Sierra Leone. They put us on a ship called the Takor. It sailed to a place called Cuba. Only 54 of us survived the trip. They threw the sick and the dying overboard.
So they weren't very kind to their own passengers.
I'm afraid not.
What did you do between this trade between Portuguese and the Spanish? I
Well-
understand your language was Mende.
We didn't understand their language, but they sold us to Cuban owners who wanted us to work the sugar plantation on the other side of the island.
Okay.
They put us on a ship called the Amistad to sail over to the other side of the island. Well, we kidnapped the ship. We killed the captain and the cook, and we started sailing back to our home, Africa.
Good. Mutiny.
Yes.
You should be congratulated.
Yes.
So you got away in the Amistad. How did you wind up in New York?
Well, they tricked us. We sailed to Africa by day, but the Cuban owners steered the ship back to your home at night. We were picked up in Long Island, New York by your U.S. Navy.
Okay. So now, did you think you were Spanish property?
No, the King of Spain declared that any kidnapped slaves who touch Spanish port are free. But that was 2 years. Cuba didn't find out. So for 2 years, we sat in the jail.
Right. So we don't have any kind of treaty with Spanish to return slaves anymore.
Right.
Okay. All right. Sounds like rotten jail.
Yeah.
Did you and your people here specialize? Did you know we had people that specialize in freeing slaves?
You call them abolitionists.
That's correct.
Yes, you have a head abolitionist in New York, Louis Tappan. He wanted your old chief to represent us in front of your highest court, the Supreme Court.
That is correct. And before we get to the Supreme Court, did you know who John Quincy Adams was?
A very old man, a very wise man. He's your highest chief. We call him a king in our country. You call him president?
That is correct.
President.
Okay. And did you understand why he wanted to free you?
Yes. It took a long time for him to decide to free us. He hated people that owned slaves. He figured it would be the last great service he could do for his country. That made him do it.
Okay. Now we get to February 22nd of this year. Before you go to the judge of the Supreme Court, could you understand what his point was?
Yes. He said that we have rights to human liberty under natural law. Rules, property rules, or rules of the sea override. Do not override that.
Yes.
He also said that illegally kidnapped slaves are not bound to fugitive slave laws crossing the.
So go on a little bit with what Mr. Adams did.
He talked for 4 more hours. Finally, one of the judges died. They had to convene court 1 month later in March to bury him. Then Mr. Adams talked for 3 more hours.
Okay. Yeah,
Amazing.
That's a lot of talk.
Amazing.
A lot of talk. What did the lawyers do? And to get down to the main issue, what did you understand was going to happen to you when you were free?
Mr. Adams said either you free us or you send us back to Spain to try us as Spanish subjects, stealing the Spanish ship in Spanish waters. But we are not Spaniards. We are African people.
Very good. So then what did Mr. Adams say that convinced the judges that you should be free?
He said, may the Lord look upon you with blessings and favor. May he also say, well done, thy good and faithful servant.
All right. Now, what did the judge say at the final end?
The oldest judge, Judge Stowe, he had permission to read the decision. And he said, these Negroes ought to be free. And we're going back to Africa.
All right. Very good. Very good. Okay. Then you were free. What did you think what would really happen to you in that courtroom that day? What do you think really happened?
The spirits of our ancestors freed us.
Volumes 1 through 10 on the road to the abolition of slavery. Volumes 1 and 2. Introduction on the road to the abolition of slavery. Slavery explained in the words, writing, and songs of contemporary politicians, abolitionists, slaves, pro-slavery advocates, and others. Volume 3, Politics, on the Road to the Abolition of Slavery. the institution of slavery and how it was written into the U.S. Constitution. Volume 4, Heroes and Heroines on the Road to the Abolition of Slavery. Liberated from the shackles of slavery, countless slaves made extraordinary contributions to society. Volume 5, Obstacles on the Road to the Abolition of Slavery. Slavery, culturally entrenched and protected by religious, political, and social obstacles. Volume 6, Martyrs on the Road to the Abolition of Slavery. People black and white gave their lives in the fight for freedom from slavery. Volume 7, Kidnappers and Justice on the Road to the Abolition of Slavery. The law protected slavery, and the scales of justice were in favor of the slave owners. Harriet Beecher Stowe, The Evil of Slavery. Stowe reveals the people and the conditions that inspired her explosive novel about slavery and life in the South. Volume 8, The Legacy of What Slavery Left Behind. War-ravaged people struggle to rebuild their society and come to terms with the repercussion of slavery after the Civil War. Volume 9, Those Dedicated Angels on the Road to the Abolition of Slavery. Recognizing the work of 12 abolitionists whose extraordinary dedication helped to free the enslaved, these are the people who fought for a higher standard of mankind. Volume 10, coming soon, summer 2013. The Beginning of Slavery, Indentured Servants and the Transatlantic Slave Trade. Colonial plantations needed labor, more orphans, loose women, convicts, and Quakers than the Old World could send as indentured servants. So the colonists looked to Africa, and the transatlantic slave trade thrived for 450 years.
Well, thank you so much for your time and your patience. And tomorrow we will resume either with Fanny J. Coppin, or we may start anew with our Aldridge. We will see, because this right here has been kind of testy today with just the one monitor and going back and forth. But thank you so much for your time and your patience. And we will see you tonight at 12 midnight with the ancestors.